Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching the final season of Ultraman. After Netflix created a CGI anime series to basically act as a celebration and also a new iteration of Ultraman, based off a popular manga series, we knew that the series would have to have an official ending after the second season was a bit shorter but also more action-packed than the first. So not only is this final season 12 episodes, it also happens to act as a definitive end to the franchise while also bringing in a new Ultraman, or Ultra Woman in this case, for a final battle. But let's get to the story, shall we? The story here is that several fake Ultramen have been essentially doing a similar thing that the Skrulls do to the Avengers, basically posing as the heroes and making them look like they're responsible for several bits of property damage. This is while Shinjiro is dealing with his powers growing more potent. So, most of the civilians and even the SSSP believe that he's responsible for a lot of deaths. So, Shinjiro has to find out the truth of what's going on, while Reina finds out that she has her own Ultraman powers after she manages to get an item that allows her to access them, and all the Ultramen of the series get to take on the final boss, who turns out was with them the whole time. So yeah, this season pretty much has every trope that you'd expect for a final season of Ultraman, but it does them in a way that still feels like it works well for this plot. There's plenty of cool Tokusatsu fights, there's plenty of dramatic moments, and even if it has one too many fake-outs for my liking, I still think it's a generally pretty solid season that builds on what works and what didn't work in the previous seasons of Ultraman. Mainly because the mystery angle is so effective for the first two-thirds of the season, similar to maybe a Secret Invasion storyline from Marvel. Similar to the Skrulls in that kind of storyline, these aliens basically get to pose as our heroes, and they get to do a good job confusing both the audience and our heroes as to who's really the hero and who isn't. Plus, we do get some cool new villains like Valkyrie, who gets to have some pretty cool action scenes and some fan service throughout her run in the series. Though some of the other villains, such as the one that Valkyrie is working for, Mephisto, aren't exactly very interesting. Ones like Mephisto are mostly in the background most of the time, and the one fight that he does have is one where it reveals that he doesn't exactly work as well as a physical threat as most of the other villains did. Though the reveal of who the final villain of the entire series is genuinely a pretty good twist, though I won't spoil who it is. On top of that, Reina gets to do more as Ultra Woman this time around, and after spending 2 seasons where she really just gets to be the love interest to the main character, and that's kind of it, I'm glad to see that she gets to participate in some of the fights. And her shield-related powers do making her a good defensive fighter, which helps her stand out from everyone else. Even if her transformation reminds me of a Magical Girl transformation scene. But it fits her pop star image, so I'll be fine with that. So, after Sola Digital Arts happens to provide some great animation for the fight scenes, and they happen to provide a solid ending for this particular version of the franchise, I do wonder where Ultraman will go from here. Maybe it'll get a reboot someday. Maybe it'll get another series to remind people of the original show. But as far as I'm concerned, the 3 seasons we have here are a pretty good franchise series all around. It may not be completely serviceable for those who can't get into the CGI, but if you're able to stand the fact that it's a CGI action series, I think it's a genuinely pretty solid effort that works well with the superhero tropes that it borrows from the original and the ones that it uses from modern day. So that's why I'm going to give this final season an 8 out of 10. See you next time.